Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Dialog 541. A certain visitor asked Sri Bhagavan, "There is so much misery in the world because wicked men abound in the world. How can one find happiness here?" Sri Bhagavan responds, "All are gurus to us. The wicked say by their evil deeds, 'Do not come near me.' The good are always good, so then all persons are like gurus to us." Satyam Shivam Sundaram, the true, the good, and the beautiful. Those who abide in the self abide in truth. That which is good has its source in that. They will naturally manifest all that is beautiful. Ignorance causes suffering. The denser the ignorance, the more atrocious the behavior or conduct. Those who go within are free of ignorance and find a happiness that transcends the world. That which is good is always so. What is the good? To find it, find yourself. Dialog 542. A asked, "I often desire to live in solitude, where I can find all I want with ease, so that I may devote all my time to meditation only. Is such a desire good or bad?" Sri Bhagavan replies, "Such thoughts will bestow a janma, a reincarnation, for their fulfillment. What does it matter where and how you are placed? The essential point is that the mind must always remain in its source. There is nothing external which is not also internal. The mind is all. If the mind is active, even solitude becomes like a marketplace. There is no use closing your eyes. Close the mental eye and all will be right. The world is not external to you. The good persons will not care to make plans previous to their actions. Why so? For God, who has sent us into the world, has His own plan, and that will certainly work itself out." The question was having a desire to live in solitude, where I can find all I want with ease, so that I may devote all my time to meditation only. Is such a desire good or bad? because the desire, as described here, is based upon the I am the body misidentification and the belief in the reality of an external world. Though the intention is to meditate all the time, the result will be another birth, reincarnation. If you transcend the world and disidentify from the body, turn the mind inward to its source, you stand beyond all that has birth and rebirth, and you at last find the solitude of the self. Its solitude is its solitary existence. For the self, there are no others. What does it matter where and how you are placed? The essential point is that the mind must always remain in its source. What is the source of the mind? The world appears in the mind and is not external. Where and what in that mind-contained world do not matter. If you desire freedom, moksha, liberation, if you desire to fulfill the yearning for happiness, then the mind must always remain in its source. Trace your mind inward to its source. The source is of the nature of existence and consciousness. The mind is all. To dissolve the mind is to dissolve the world. That is the belief in an objectively existing externality. Everything that appears to be external is also internal, he said. Even the very ideas of external and internal are only in the mind. And if the mind's real nature is sought by inquiry, there is no mind at all. If the mind is active, even solitude becomes like a marketplace. What is meant by the mind being active? Busily believing in its own imaginings. Such is only delusion. There is no use closing your eyes. What is to be sought is not a change in the senses, the eyes, the ears, etc., seeing, hearing, etc. What is needed is a change in what you view as real. And the view of what is reality is determined by the view of yourself, who you are. Clarify the knowledge of identity. And you simultaneously clarify the knowledge of what is reality. Close the mental eye. Abandon the belief in an objectively existing world. And realize your bodiless nature. Then all will be right. Because there is then clarity regarding identity and the nature of reality, the experience of happiness is left unobscured. The world is not external to you. If you know this, you will not be bound by anything that appears in the world. Or we may look at this in another way. All is by and for God. If the conviction is deep in that, one will not be attached to anything. And where there is such non-attachment, there is peace. Dialog 543. Many visitors came on one occasion, and they all saluted Sri Bhagavan with a single prayer: "Make me a bhakta, give me moksha." After they left, Sri Bhagavan said, thinking aloud, "All of them want bhakti and moksha. If I say to them, 'Give yourself to me,' they will not. How then can they get what they want?" They asked, "Make me a bhakta, make me a devotee." How is that to be done? All of them had asked Sri Bhagavan, "Give me moksha, release, liberation." How is that to be done? Can liberation or release be handed over like a phenomenal object? Should Sri Bhagavan make someone a devotee? One can pray, "Give me devotion," but is it something given? Or is it naturally something much deeper? Release or moksha is not to be attained anew. Who wishes to be released from what? If I say to them, "Give yourself to me," they will not. What does it mean? It means abandonment of the ego notion. It means the relinquishment of the ideas of I and mine. If they don't do that, if they won't do that, then Sri Bhagavan says, how then can they get what they want? Dialog 544. On one occasion, a few devotees were discussing among themselves the relative merits of some famous bhaktas. They did not agree among themselves and referred the matter to Sri Bhagavan. He remained silent. The discussion grew hot. Finally, Sri Bhagavan said, "One cannot know about another, nor can confer bondage or release on another. Each one desires to become famous in the world. It is natural for man, but that desire alone does not bring about the end in view. He who is not accepted by God is certainly humiliated. He who has surrendered himself, body and mind, to God becomes famous all over the world." They were discussing the relative merits of some famous bhaktas. Sri Bhagavan remained silent. Why? By such discussions, does anyone get realized? They were discussing the various bhaktas. Is that bhakti, devotion? If it's not devotion and it's not wisdom, what use is it? Are not such discussions based upon the ego and the I am the body misconception? One cannot know about another, nor can confer bondage or release on another. Is bondage composed of anything other than one's own misconceptions? Is release or liberation anything other than freedom from such misconceptions? If this be so, then no one other than yourself determines your own bondage and liberation. He who has surrendered himself, body and mind, to God becomes famous all over the world. Well, certainly it can be said that one who surrenders himself, body and mind, to God is not bound in any way anymore. If this brings some sort of fame in the world, it is of no consequence. If one does not become famous as a result of such devotion, the same God is still there, no less. And God is far more important than any personal appearance or gain or attainment. Dialog 545. A was once badly distracted by sexual thoughts. He fought against them. He fasted 3 days and prayed to God so that he might be free from such thoughts. Finally, he decided to ask Sri Bhagavan about it. Sri Bhagavan listened to him and remained silent for about 2 minutes. Then he said, "Well, the thoughts distracted you and you fought against them. That is good. Why do you continue to think of them now? Whenever such thoughts arise, consider to whom they arise, and they will flee away from you." The instruction being to consider to whom they arise is so for all thoughts. If you inquire for whom the thoughts appear, the thoughts will flee away. They will cease to appear as such. And you will cease to regard them as real. He asked, a person does something good, but he sometimes suffers pain even in his right activities. Another does something wicked, but is also happy. Why should it be so? Sri Bhagavan replied, pain or pleasure is the result of past karma and not of the present karma. Pain and pleasure alternate with each other. One must suffer or enjoy them patiently without being carried away by them. One must always try to hold on to the self. When one is active, one should not care for the results, and must not be swayed by the pain or pleasure met with occasionally. He who is indifferent to pain and pleasure can alone be happy. The question was, why does a person who's engaged in doing good things seem to suffer? How is that in accordance with the laws of karma? Bhagavan explained that it's the result of past karma and not of the present karma that one experiences different kinds of suffering. One must always try to hold on to the self. The self is not the experiencer, is not the enjoyer, not the sufferer, not the actor of actions, not the reaper of results. One should hold on to the self. How does one hold on to the self? Especially because there are not two, that one should hold on to another. You must remain steadily, firmly in the clear knowledge of the self. In other words, know what you truly are. Dialog 547. A disciple asks, what is the significance of Guru's grace in the attainment of liberation? Sri Bhagavan replied, liberation is not anywhere outside you, it is only within. If a man is anxious for deliverance, the Guru within pulls him in, and the Guru without pushes him into the self. This is the grace of the Guru. Liberation is not anywhere outside you. If it is within, it can be neither attained nor lost. It is only within. What does within mean? Not within the body. What does within mean? It is only I. What is the significance of I? Comprehend that, and you have, indeed you are, the liberation that was sought. If a man is anxious for deliverance, that is, he has the intense desire to realize the self, the guru within pulls him in, and the guru without pushes him into the self. This is the grace of the Guru. It is that which draws you to what is within. The Guru without pushes him in. Is this not Upadesha, spiritual instruction? Dialog 548. A visitor asked Sri Bhagavan in writing the following questions. 1. Were the differences in the world simultaneous with creation, or are they of later growth? 2. Is the Creator impartial? Then why is one born lame, another blind, and so on? 3. Are the 8 Dikpalas 33 crores of gods, and the 7 rishis existed even today? Sri Bhagavan replied, refer these questions to yourself, and the answer will be found. After a pause, Sri Bhagavan continued, if we first know ourself, then all other matters will be plain to us. Let us know ourself, and then inquire concerning the Creator and creation. Without first knowing the self, to seek knowledge of God, etc., is ignorance. A man suffering from jaundice sees everything yellow. If he tells others that all things are yellow, who will accept his statement? The creation is said to have an origin. How? Like a tree and the seed from which it has grown. How was the seed produced? From a similar tree. Where is the end to the series of questions? Therefore, one must know oneself before the world is known. Sri Bhagavan's initial response was, refer these questions to yourself, and the answer will be found. Questions are about a Creator. If there's a Creator, there's also a creation. What is the use of such questions? If you wish to know the nature of the entire creation, you first must know yourself, and that being known, there will be found to be no creation whatsoever. So then what would be the talk of a creator? If we first know ourselves, then all other matters will be plain to us. Let us know ourselves, and then inquire concerning the Creator and creation. Without first knowing the self, to seek knowledge of God, etc., is ignorance. How is it ignorance? Because such an approach will include the very illusions that one is attempting to get over. It will include the same misidentifications that are at the root of all ignorance, and consequently of all bondage. The creation is said to have an origin. If it is there, it must come from somewhere. How? The explanation usually is like a tree and the seed from which it has grown. But this only leads to another question. How was the seed produced? And the answer that is usual would be from a similar tree. Where is the end to the series of questions? One could go on indefinitely, and yet be no closer to true knowledge. Therefore, one must know oneself before the world is known. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Shanti.